I see dead people.
Put it on that beat, go.
Aye, monster on the beat, ho, Debo. Any rap nigga, he a freak throw. Man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? They industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walk him down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs and party at the party playing. Psst, I see dead people.
Put it on that beat, go.
Aye, monster on the beat, ho, Debo. Any rap nigga, he a freak throw. Man down, call her Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? The industry can hate me, fuck them all and they mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stockton. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified boogeyman, I'm the one that up to score with him. Walk him down whole time, I know he got some hoe in him. Pole on him, extort shit, bully the flow on him. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubb's the only one that get your hand-me-downs and party at the party playing with his nose now. And Baka got a weird case, why is he around? Certified lover boys, certified pedophiles. Wop, 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 wop. That fuck him up. Wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my stuff. Why you trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Tryna strike a chord and it's probably A minor. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. You think the Bay gon' let you disrespect Pop, nigga? I think that Oakland show gon' be your last stop, nigga. They cold foul, I don't know why you still pretending. What is the owl? Bird niggas and bird bitches, go. The audience not dumb, shape the stories how you want. Hey Drake, they're not slow. Rabbit hole is still deep, I can go further, I promise. Ain't there something? B-Rest stands for bitch and you Malibu most wanted. Ain't no law boy, you ball boy, fresh Gatorade or something. Since 2009, I had this bitch jumping. You niggas will get a wedgie, be flipped over your boxes or over your foe. The other vaginal option, pussy, nigga better straighten they posture. Got favorites all up in contact, might write this with a doctor. Tell a pop star quit hiding, fuck a caption, won't action. No accident, I'm hands on, he fuck around, get polished. Fucked on Wayne Grow, he was in jail, that's conniving. Then get his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. I'm glad D-Rose came home, y'all didn't deserve him neither. From Alondra down to Central, nigga better not speak on Serena. And your homeboy needs subpoena, that predator moving flocks. That name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. I lean on you niggas like another line of walk. Yeah, it's all eyes on me and I'ma send it up the pot. Ay, put the roll label on me, I'ma get them dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock? Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. Ay, devil is a lie, he a 69 God. Ay, freaky ass niggas need to stay their ass inside. Ay, roll their ass up like a fresh pack of Zod. Ay, city is back up, it's a must, we outside. Ay. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. Once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still double down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the mecca, building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second, let me put y'all on game. The settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you, this the real nigga challenge. You caught Future when you didn't see the club. Hey, what, little baby, help you get your lingo up. What, 21, get your first.
Well. We're here. Y'all bear with me. I'm doing a lot of this by myself. It's my first time going live in a while with my whole new setup, so bear with me. But the whole point of this video is to really focus specifically on the Drake versus Universal Music Group, UMG, the lawsuit that exists. And I think that it's very important to take a look at it in its entirety, in the context that it was written, because it's easy for a lot of stuff to get misconstrued with, gossip and these gossip like media outlets, even these media outlets that their whole jobs are to push narratives and agendas and basically to persuade you and your mindset into thinking, and believing a certain thing, even if there's no legitimacy to, whatever is being pushed to you. And so I do believe that this is important to take a look at, because especially the thing I want to focus on is like, one, Drake is considered a rapper. Rap is a part of Black culture. Hip hop, rap, however you want to put it, is Black culture. And it's associated more recently with Black street culture. And because of the Black street culture aspect, it's very easy for this to just get, plastered as like, this just some punk nigga who just got motherfucking mollywopped all across the floor. You know what I'm saying? And he was dragged and he lost in a rap battle, right? And it's easy for us to disregard it, dismiss it as just a simple, rap battle or rap beef or what have you. But the simple fact is that it's not just a simple rap beef or rap battle, And so before we get further into it, I just want to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It doesn't matter what time it is. Just know today is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Why? Because God is good. He's good all the time. Duh. Okay. Y'all, bear with me. I'm a bit old school in the sense if I got some notes, you know what I'm saying? Some handwritten notes. All my stuff isn't electronic. I'm one of those type of people that I love to see my stuff written out. I retain information a lot better written out, and it helps me see everything as I lay it out before you. And the importance of this lawsuit, I think it's something that we need to understand, and because I don't even know exactly where to start, except for the fact that it's easy, as I mentioned before, it's easy for this to just get pushed off as like, a rap beef that one party lost and now he's sour about it, because many people have their opinions, their conclusions, their assumptions, assertions, whatever you want to put it. They have their own thought processes on how to describe Drake, how they feel about Drake, the whole shebang. And the truth of the matter is, regardless of how you feel about him, there is legitimacy to his lawsuit. And not only is there legitimacy to his lawsuit, but his lawsuit encompasses a lot more than what people think. Like, it's not just this feud because he lost a rap beef, okay? I mean, it's evident in the fact that in the lawsuit, it's not even listed as Drake versus, Kendrick Lamar. It's literally Drake versus UMG. And in the lawsuit, it is specified that the lawsuit is not between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, but it is in fact between Drake and UMG, which for many who may not be aware, there is a bit of a conflict of interest in the dissemination, the publishing, the distribution, the promotion, the marketing, and everything when it pertains to these two parties, because one, there's this conflict of interest, right? Although Kendrick Lamar, and we'll go more into depth, because I want y'all to understand, how we got to this lawsuit and the magnitude of this lawsuit by understanding the parties that are involved in the lawsuit and the parties that are being used, that are more third party, but not necessarily a part of the lawsuit, right? But the truth is that Drake and Kendrick, when you narrow it down, they're both under UMG, right? And so there's a conflict of interest. And then another thing that Drake had brought attention to is the fact that when it comes to UMG, right, there's a lot of like unlawful acts that were brought into place, things that could be viewed as like criminal, some things that it could be perceived as like, and this is why I say it's beyond just the music aspect, it's beyond just the rap beef, but we're looking at now claims of consumer fraud, right? We're not just talking about First Amendment protections and potential infringements, but he is basically claiming fraud, consumer fraud that has happened on the part of UMG based on the way that they have manipulated, right, these platforms and these services and these products that we, the people, the consumers, have access to, right? And they have facilitated and orchestrated it in a way where they literally manipulated it into many believing that the claims, the allegations, that are stated in Kendrick Lamar's song, which is protected by his First Amendment, they pushed this and facilitated it and manipulated it in a way to where the average person believes that these claims are true. Just the average person. The average person is not a person who is very detailed about the ins and outs of the music industry. I mean, I'm not even knowledgeable on the intricacies of Drake and Kendrick Lamar's like music, repertoire. I have no idea, like there's a couple of hits that I'm aware of, but when it comes to like them as a person and even the things that are behind the scenes, like I have no like knowledge of whether any of this stuff is legitimate, right? And so as the average consumer, especially when you have language that is in Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, that literally states that in the line, he said, "Don't tell any lies about me and I won't tell any truths about you." That encourages the average listener to believe that what he's implying is actually true. And so this is why Drake feels the need to sue Universal Music Group, is because Universal Music Group took someone's artistic, property and unfairly pushed it through, all the different channels that it could, in a way where it literally caused deception to the average consumer, right? We've already established that the language accuses him of pedophilia. The language accuses him of basically not even being trustworthy around your little sister, no female. I mean, even in this lawsuit with Drake, he has mentioned, he alleged that the attacks that has happened on his property, where one of his employees, I think it's a security guard, but also a friend of his or something like that, was shot. Thankfully, to the Most High, he survived. But, his personal safety has been jeopardized and such. And so, Drake, he is pushing this as if this is occurring because of UMG's unlawful actions, on top of the fact that they are like literally a powerhouse that is almost like unfightable, and I want to bring you back to it. So just for the average person, because I do want to break it down, right? So for the average person who may not even know what a civil suit is, it's basically you go before the courts and you say that, a harm has been, brought upon you, and this person is reliable for it, and I would like to hold them accountable. And it's legally, brought through the court systems. A judge, you could request a jury, a jury trial, or you could request a bench trial, which is basically just the judge. You don't have a jury, you go before a judge and he rules on everything. And in the state of New York, right? In the state of New York, there's 4 elements that are needed to basically produce a civil suit. It's violation, it's duty, harm, and causation. Those are the 4. Now, I did not put them in the order. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting them out there. These are the 4 elements that are needed in order to establish, tort liability or civil suit. They use interchangeably here in New York, but that's what happens in New York. And because Drake's lawsuit is literally under the jurisdiction of New York, these are the guidelines that he will be, guided by, so to speak. Some may ask, well, why is Drake lawsuit in New York? Why is it not in Texas? Or why is it not in Canada? I'll tell you. Well, one, both of them conduct business here in New York. And because they conduct business here in New York, UMG owns real property here in New York, and they utilize New York City, New York State, but New York City as its like beacon to, provide that worldwide status that it has of, getting your music out there. It gives New York State the jurisdiction to hold the case. And honestly, I don't really see New York State turning it down and pushing the revenue elsewhere, because UMG and Drake are very wealthy entities. I mean, Drake, he's new money, baby money. UMG is more, that's generational wealth. But at the same, it's money, and it's a civil suit. It's not like a criminal suit where criminal, they depend on government funds to process those cases. In the civil matter, it's like, nah, bro, we depend on y'all funds. So the plaintiff and defendants, yes, we'll take your case, because at the end of the day, that's money that goes through our courts. That's money that goes through New York. So New York ain't gonna have no problem turning it down. On top of the fact that in Drake's lawsuit, he asserts that a lot of the claims that he is making, the harm, that UMG induced upon him, these claims that he's making against them, he states that they occurred here in New York. So that's why New York State is the venue of choice. I believe it's at the highest court in New York State. It's in New York State Supreme Court, but it's within New York City. So there's that wonderful jazz. But so going back to these 4 elements, right? Harm, violation, duty, and cause. These are the 4 elements that you need to establish a civil suit. Now, you basically have that. I will add, just for a little extra, in regards to civil suits, and I know it's kind of confusing because a lot of us, unless you are funneled through the court systems, you don't know how they work. By the grace of God, I've been blessed enough to be educated on the criminal justice system, as in my associates all the way to my master's degree is all in criminal justice system. So I know the ins and outs on the paper side. I also have been funneled through the criminal justice system. I've been arrested at least 2 or 3 times, you know what I'm saying? Convicted of nothing except a violation. I fought at 17 years old, and the system took advantage of me and my poor family. My daddy, these jokes didn't even tell us that we had the right to an attorney. We didn't even know. So my dad was like, T, to make everything simple, whatever they offer you, you're going to accept it. I didn't know. Later, I found out I ended up taking a guilty plea. So I pled guilty to harassment and assault. I think it was in like the 3rd degree or 2nd degree. I don't even remember, but I was like 17 years old. And it's because I fought this girl that was harassing me in high school. The only fight I've ever gotten to in school anyway, like, period. Mind blowing, because I was one of them like academic, I don't want to say nerds, but I was one of those, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't a nerd, but I was close, athletic nerd, if you will, academic. But anyways, neither here nor there. I'm experienced enough in the criminal justice system from both sides, except, like I said, I have never been convicted to where I've had to sit inside of a jail or prison. Okay. But I know the ins and outs based on, my educational background and the interactions that I have with my family who's been incarcerated, my community members. I'm constantly trying to help, in any way I can, even if it's just getting people's stories out. So with that being said, I know in the criminal realm, people don't understand how the court works. Civil, Everything with regards to the civil side, it's almost drastically different from the criminal. So the criminal side, you have a bunch of rights, right? Every amendment right that you could think of applies to you. You have the right to attorney, you have the right to a fair trial, you have the right to due process. If you motherfucker can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. You know what I'm saying? You have the right to remain silent. All these rights pertain, or these rights are afforded to you when you process through the criminal side. But when you go through the civil side, you don't get like half of that. You're not even afforded an attorney. You're not even getting a civil suit initiated 9 times out of 10 if you ain't got no lawyer or you're not savvy enough to initiate your own civil suit, which the average person isn't savvy enough to initiate their own civil suit. So what do they got to do? Go to the legal secretaries, aka attorneys, esquires, lawyers. And they got to say, hey, I need you to be my secretary. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you ain't got no money. 9 times out of 10, you can't afford these civil attorneys because this on average, the average attorney will say is about $100 an hour. The average person don't even make that at their job. You know what I'm saying? So you can't afford it. So that's why a lot of cases aren't brought through the court system. But here with Drake, the burden of proof is lower in the civil courts compared to criminal. In the criminal side, people always talk about you need his evidence and And I mean, we've seen it with the Jay-Z accusations from his most recent, accusations. And people is like, why don't you take it to the criminal side? And it's easy to say wild stuff if you have no idea what you're even talking about. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people take their stuff to the civil side. Like Drake, he's civilly suing these people instead of criminally charging them, even though he has made mentions of them being, They produced actions that were literally knocking on consumer fraud door, right? Illegal, right? Because fraud, period, is a crime. That's a crime. Like, there's no way around it. Equivalent to possession of narcotics, it's a crime. So although he makes mentions of crime, at the hands of UMG and their executives and shareholders and whatnot, the reason why people go the civil route is because, like I've mentioned to you, the civil side compared to the criminal side, the civil side is a lot easier to process, right? The criminal side, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this person did what you are accusing them of. The average person can't prove none of that because people have the CSI effect, which means that they are so dependent on TV. Okay, we done seen Law and Order, we done seen the CSI Miami's, New York's, you got all these Law and Order shows out here, and people think that the criminal justice system or the court system, period, the system functions the way that they see it on TV. No, babe. It doesn't. Majority of stuff that's happening, majority of crimes, majority of immoral acts that's taking place, people don't have no motherfucking proof. They ain't got no evidence. That's why a lot of these instances you see, people are dependent on witness statements. I mean, we even seen it with these Diddy accusations. No, not too many people have full-blown concrete evidence. Everything is circumstantial, which means is like, okay, I look at everything you present to me and this is plausible, but it's not 100% concrete. And that is why Diddy is still sitting with his, constitutional rights being violated. He's held in pretrial detention over witness statements. Witness statements that law psychologists have already established that witness statements aren't reliable and should not even be utilized in the court systems because of the fact that of their unreliable nature. You literally are penalizing people, taking people's monies, incarcerating people based on word of mouth. And you based it on somebody's motherfucking implicit biases, they memory problems. I mean, it's pretty difficult to remember just what I did like maybe 10 hours ago, let alone some years back. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you are processing something under duress. It's really hard to retain some information. So they have already deemed it unreliable. But, excuse me, it's not uncommon to see it used in these court cases. And so here in this civil matter, beyond a reasonable doubt isn't the burden of proof. The burden of proof in civil matters is preponderance of evidence. What that basically means is that you have to show that with at least 50% or more, so that could be 50.01%, you spell out all your evidence, you lay it out, and you show these people like, hey, with all this evidence that I'm giving you, I need you to do something here. Look at everything that I've presented you and listen to my conclusion. This is what I come up with. And if it's plausible enough for them people to be like, oh, okay, I can see the connections. I can see this. Okay. They'll win on your behalf. The criminal side, it ain't like that. It's the opposite. All you need is a little bit of doubt, just a little bit. Whole case fall apart, which is why the criminal side, they depend on plea bargains because they won't tell you, but it's okay. I will, because God blessed me with this education. When you go to court, especially criminal court, but when you go to court, period, you have a greater chance of winning when you take it to trial. Take it to trial. Don't take any pleas. Telling you. Pray on it. Pray on it. Because I will tell you this. You got the people, you might have them onesie twosies that might, I'm fighting, I take it to trial. Oh my goodness, I was convicted. T, you lied to me. Let me break it down to you, the statistics. Out of all of the cases that goes to criminal court, right? When people actually push for trial, out of all the cases that goes to trial, less than 2% of them are actually found guilty by the court of law. That means the other 98% of those cases that go to trial are dismissed, are acquitted, motherfucking thrown away, just falls apart. Less than 2% of those that goes to motherfucking trial are actually found guilty by a court of law. So what does that mean? You have a greater chance of getting a successful win, fighting and going to trial than you would just throwing in the towel and be like, okay, I'm gonna just take whatever you offer me. Because at the end of the day, your body sitting up in that prison, that jail, you're funding, okay? You're just a check, okay? But back to the lawsuit. After I, kind of bring this, make it a little bit more easier, more digestible on how the court systems work. Now you see why people bring it to the civil side. Now you see why Drake is taking it to civil court instead of criminal court. Even though, he has quite a bit of evidence that he has gathered over the time, he still have a great chance of losing. Why? Because I told y'all, if he takes UMG to criminal court, UMG is taking it to trial. We've already established over 90% of court cases that go to criminal court or that goes to trial are dismissed, acquitted. Motherfreaking, you end up like me and Young Thug, and there's this mistrial. Don't take pleas. Please don't do like Young Thug did and take a plea. Listen, I really had hope that he had listened to his lawyer. Because the thing about a mistrial, especially once they already present all the information before your jury and everything, the jury is tainted. So they got to start all over. The courts don't like starting over. They don't even like admitting that they were wrong. They have the sense of finality, even when they jack up and they sentence people that not necessarily were innocent, but weren't guilty of what they accused them. They don't get no I'm sorry. They don't give out I'm sorries. They ain't giving you no money. You're not getting no letter. They're not going to send no letter of recommendation to help you get a job, no nothing, even though they ruined your life. Because the court, there's a sense of finality. I don't care. You got dragged through here. Everything that happened to you was meant to happen to you. It's on you. You don't want this stuff happening to you? Stay up out of here. That's how they see it. That's how they see it. So with mistrial, I would hope Young Thug had listened, because then he wouldn't have been on there with no 15 years or no probation. 15 years? Come on. What? this is why they claim recidivism is so high. With a 15-year probation, baby, they are ensuring you recidivate at some point. That's just too long to be under criminal supervision. You know what I'm saying? A government supervision. That's just a long, every little thing. And right now, I just got out of my own case, right? I was arrested. Jesus done delivered me from 2, actually. But the most recently, you can find that link. I tell about that story with me defending the young girl. But recently, I pushed my stuff to trial. Let me tell you, they dismissed it. I got a 6-month ACD, which is called an adjourned conditional dismissal. So all I got to do is stay out of trouble for 6 months. And it just falls apart. As long as I don't get in trouble for 6 months, they won't bring the garbage back up. That 6 months is just to keep me. They like, hold on, we don't want to let go of you just yet. So we got to hold on to you for just a little bit longer. I ain't going to get into nothing because I rarely do. But like I said, you want to know that story? Go check me out on TikTok or go look at that link. But we're going to get back to this Drake because I want y'all to understand. So I cannot help you understand the Drake v. Universal Music Group lawsuit without you understanding who Kendrick Lamar is, who Drake is, and who Universal Music Group is. Now, give me a second because I got to flip my page because like I told y'all, I am a person who write my notes. I do not like using screens and stuff because then if you look at it too long, you got to put on glasses and all this. I don't like that. So, I ain't doing that. But in order to understand about their lawsuit, give me a second, I'm pulling it up. You got to understand who Drake, Kendrick, and UMG is. We're going to start with Kendrick because, like I said, he has nothing to do with this lawsuit in regards to he's not listed as a defendant on the lawsuit. The only thing he has to do with the lawsuit is his track, Not Like Us, getting this disproportionate publishment, and motherfreaking distribution, marketing, motherfreaking UMG was pulling out all they motherfreaking incentives. They was doing everything to put, that's the only reason why it's here. He just saying, this is the piece, this is the thing that UMG utilized to harm me and commit criminal acts. He knows that, or at least I'm assuming that Drake is aware that Kendrick Lamar is covered under the First Amendment. So there's nothing you can really do with Kendrick. And not for nothing, although however you feel about rich people, because I know you got those people out here who lionize rich people and it's just y'all motherfreaking hop on these bandwagons because they got money, okay? But if you really think about it, Drake coming for Kendrick Lamar is like, it's like you punching down, right? Or you punching laterally. You hitting the nigga in the same boat right next to you. Both of y'all boats sinking, but you punched the nigga inside your boat because y'all both sinking. That's what would be suing Kendrick for Drake. It's like kicking or punching the nigga you sinking with. But if you go for the motherfreaking nigga that blew the cannon into your ship, now, baby, you got a chance of you getting something out of here, okay? You got a chance of survival here. Kendrick is at the bottom of the totem pole right along with Drake. Laterally, they look the same. UMG, these niggas is at the top and they control a lot. So this is why no one really pays attention to Kendrick in that regard. But we're going to tell you about Kendrick. I just asked that you give me some time because, like I said, I got some notes up here. And, yes. I want y'all to understand this because I'm going to break it down, but I'm not going to be too wordy. But his information, if y'all reading the form with me, it starts at page 21 of the lawsuit, right? And so it says number 51 and 53. So that's in my notes. Okay, 51 and 53. And it says, okay, so Kendrick Lamar, he was signed to an exclusive production company agreement with Top Dog Entertainment, TDE, which is in turn which in turn furnished his exclusive recording services to the Aftermath Entertainment record imprint, a joint venture of Interscope. Remember that, a joint venture of Interscope. Interscope falls under UMG. Joint ventureship means they equally are partnered in it. So they equally have ownership, okay? So UMG equal through Interscope. Kendrick Lamar. All right. And then it says, through these contracts, UMG exclusively controls the release, the publication, and licensing of all music products created by Kendrick Lamar during the term of the contract, including the defamatory material. The defamatory material is the song Not Like Us. Remember, we said he's not suing Kendrick Lamar. He's suing UMG for disproportionately and illegally releasing, publishing, and licensing the music created by Kendrick Lamar. In this regard, motherfucking Not Like Us, the defamatory material. Then it says, Lamar signed a short-term deal with UMG to see if UMG could prove its value to him. So before UMG took this joint ventureship, this joint venture deal with Interscope, Kendrick was like, I need to see how you value me. You know, I got to see your value to me. You got to prove it. And so the way that they ended up doing it is by promoting, he wants to see how they will promote him more effectively than any other music group could. So just in case I butchered that a little bit with my stutter tucking, Lamar signed a short-term deal with UMG to see if UMG could prove UMG's value to Kendrick Lamar. That thing that they have to prove to Kendrick Lamar that they can promote Kendrick Lamar more effectively than any other music company could. And then in such a tiny little time frame. Okay? Then it says that if successful, Lamar would then continue his relationship with UMG through a new longer term contract. So they had a short one, was like, prove to me that you can promote me better than any other music company. So they was like, bet. Looking Not Like Us is everywhere. They trying to put it at the Superbowl tomorrow. It was at the Grammys. It was playing on every radio station. It was on every motherfreaking platform, Spotify, iTunes. I mean, we'll get into it, but UMG even incentivized these streaming services to even get the music, to play it, giving them discounted motherfreaking licensing rates. I mean, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but yes, they was motherfreaking giving out discounted licensing rates. They even motherfreaking gave out copyright licensings so limited. That's why I started this video playing the Not Like Us song, because I wanted y'all to see. Any other song you play, you gonna get flagged. You are going to get flagged. But the Not Like Us, you play that junk on YouTube. That's why you had the Kai Cenats and the likes of them listed in here. They're not listed as defendants. They're just mentioned to show the effect that UMG had on motherfreaking the defamatory material known as Not Like Us, created by Kendrick Lamar. So, but yes, you literally could play it anywhere. You didn't have to worry about getting flagged, them taking it down for copyrights. I mean, it was so relaxed. So relaxed. But I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. We're going to keep going. So we're going to keep going. Do y'all want to see matter of fact, why not? I'll show it to you. Look at this is documents I'm reading. So if you want to see it as I read along, you can see I got little notes, highlight, yes. It took me a little bit to read through here because I'm doing renovations on my house and everything, but I got it done. So, Kendrick Lamar. That's Kendrick Lamar. Now, if you know Kendrick Lamar's, history and whatnot with his music, then you know that at the end of the day, it's really difficult to be promoted in this space, right? It's really difficult to be promoted in this space because, I mean, UMG has even mentioned it, and it's quoted in this lawsuit where Drake said that UMG has stated to them over 60,000, musical contents are disseminated onto the internet, whether it's Spotify, what have you, all these platforms, right? And so to compete and get your stuff out there, you really gotta, excuse me, I'm over here burping, muscle your way through. And we're gonna get to that because actually, I'm gonna show y'all since we on this page. But in here it says, since the defendant's initial publication of the recording, they're talking about Not Like Us, and the defendant is UMG, not Kendrick Lamar. The recording has been streamed globally more than 900 million times on Spotify alone as of the date of this filing. And this was filed January 15th. We are currently February 8th. Yeah. Yeah. It says, and then the recording repeatedly accuses Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including pedophilia and other acts that would require registering as a sex offender and being registered as a sex offender. Okay. Now, before we really get into the details of what the harm is, because I got to break it down to y'all, because y'all remember them 4 elements. I'm going to put it out for y'all. I'm going to show you where the harm was, right? The harm that was inflicted upon by UMG. I'm going to show you that harm. I'm going to show you what motherfreaking caused it. I'm going to show you that they had a duty to motherfreaking Drake to protect him, his safety, as well as his character when it comes to his reputation. You see what I'm saying? Because being painted as a pedophile, not just nationally, because people think this is just an America thing, but this man is globally painted as a pedophile. Whether it's true or not, Drake has never been arrested, charged, nor convicted of any crime. At least not pertaining to pedophilia. I'm not going to sit here in front like I know this man's life, because I don't. But at least in regards to this, we have not been shown that he has been arrested, charged, nor convicted of anything pertaining to pedophilia. So it's interesting. But okay, we're gonna shrink me back again so y'all can see this, because we're gonna move on to Drake, because I want y'all to understand who Drake is, and then lastly, who motherfreaking UMG is. Now, Drake, for those who don't know, I didn't even know all this about Drake. Like I used to wonder, like, why is Drake such a big dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, you know what I'm saying, that the homie motherfreaking makes a lot of music and he's popular, but reading through this, I was motherfreaking informed, okay? So in regards to his music, right, it says 31 to 34. So we're going to read this. But so his career spans over 2 decades. He first rose to fame in the early 2000s on the show Degrassi. And then he became the rapper who we now know is Drake. He is the world's best-selling music artist of all time. Some of his biggest hits include Hotline Bling and One Dance. Between 2010, the year that I graduated, in 2024, Drake released 8 studio albums with more than 170 million albums sold, including 244 million singles sold. It says Drake has also had 13 number 1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Okay, get it, boy. It says he's been nominated for 55 Grammy Awards, won 5, most recently in 2023. He's also won 42 Billboard Music Awards. In 2021, he accepted Billboard's Artist of the Decade's award. And then it says, then we go into his other endeavors. So then we have the music, then we have his clothing brand, his brand OVO, right? And so OVO, Drake also uses brand name OVO, represented by an owl, for his clothing brand. Label merch clothing brand has collaborated with Canada Goose, Canadian retailer Roots, Disney, the NCAA, the NFL, and Supreme. Yeah. Then it extends to film. I didn't even know that this dude mother freaking had anything to do with the show Euphoria. My wife mother freaking, she had me all into that show, and I thought that show was wild. It had my, we watched every mother freaking episode. That was the most dramatic show I've ever seen with children outside of Shameless. But on television, it's like, damn. Anyways, but that was a good show. I didn't know he had anything to do with that. But yeah, Drake, Euphoria. And he received a Primetime Emmy Award nomination for it. And then he has, his basketball endeavors. I mean, he's global ambassador for Toronto's NBA team, the Raptors. And then they said he got an athletic center named after him. I mean, that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot going for him. And I'm happy for him, And it also mentions some of his philanthropic endeavors, but I digress from that because I feel like, I have my opinions on philanthropy, and philanthropy for me ain't nothing but a way for people to pay away all the evil that they've been doing. So it makes it muddies it up. So people be like, hey, you was out here raping little kids, but I donated mad money to the kids' little school. Then you're like, oh, wait, hold on. Was he raping little kids? So, anyways, that's Drake's, little background. Then we got to get into UMG, because you got to remember UMG, and I'm going to put this out here, but UMG is the world leader in music-based entertainment, which produces, distributes, and promotes music to fans around the world. You can even find that quote on UMG's website. It's interesting. But then they try to play this whole ordeal. Hey, no, it's not me. It's not me, bro. I ain't do nothing. I'm just letting this man rock out. I'm not infringing upon his First Amendment right. The whole time they just doing wild stuff to get paid. But anyways, let's get into this. So who is UMG? Universal Music Group. All right. So I'm on the wrong motherfucking page. Let's scroll a little bit, because I'm gonna read to you who these jokers are. All right. So UMG, y'all bear with me because I got a lot going on, and I am my own, my own everything over here. Okay. So who is UMG? Oh, this is the page I was looking for. Duh. UMG licensed its music to hundreds of retailers around the world. That's not where I want to start, though. I want to start at number 44. I want y'all to see this. Okay. Universal Music says it exists to shape culture through the power of artistry, because music is unique in its ability to inspire people. That power to shape culture and inspire people is apparent by the numbers. The power to shape culture. Power to shape culture. Interesting word choice. Interesting. Because it's funny, the likes of UMG, they pick and choose when they want to admit that they have the power to shape culture and inspire people. Now, when the music industry was getting dragged for murdering people with the music that they push, with mother freaking promoting teen pregnancy and just filth. I mean, you got mother freaking the likes of Sexy Red chanting about her vagina being stank, bro. Then she appearing at schools going to children. Just last week, I randomly heard my nephew, about 5-year-old nephew. I didn't even know this little boy knew Sexy Red. He, go sexy. I'm like, bro, I just found out who this child is. How the heck you know who Sexy Red is? But my baby knew who Sexy Red is before his 32-year-old auntie. My 5-year-old nephew, who just started school this motherfucking semester, this school year. The 2024, 2025. Baby been on the teat. until now. This is his first year at school. He in kindergarten. Go sexy. Go. How you even know about her? So when you got people sitting here saying like the fabric of, you know, the black community, most importantly, because this music comes from us and it started with us. So the first people is going to motherfreaking destroy is us. Is being destroyed because of the music. You really had weirdos out here saying like, no, this is, you know, we're in that time. People are just expressing themselves. People need representation. And I mean, I get it. You feel you need representation because you got a bunch of weirdos who are giving you poor representation, continue to tell you need representation. Even though we see having that representation does not change jack squat in our lives. Jack squat. It's crazy because when I went to court and I was charged with menacing with a deadly weapon in 2021, was that 2021? Yeah, 2021. When I was charged with menacing with a deadly weapon in 2021, and I had a motherfucking black judge overseeing me, this nigga viewed me the same way that these bigoted, racist white people viewed me. Then my motherfucking white public defender had the audacity to hit me with the, so did Judge Miller tell you that both of y'all graduated from the same high school, Joseph C. Wilson? Nigga, when the freak did you think this nigga had taken the time out to come and tell me, hey, we graduated from the same other freaking high school? Do you think we just out here communicating amongst one another because we both black? Man, when I tell you I wanted to curse this dude out, I'll be having to remind myself on a daily basis, Tierra, you are trying to live your life for Jesus Christ and you cannot call yourself a motherfucking believer and follower of Jesus Christ. You cannot say you love the Father when you hate man who you see every day. I wanted to slap this man like the man I detest, okay? That it was so dumb. So dumb. But anyways, I digress. We moving on. Because this ain't about me. But it's about the fact that representation don't mean squat. Okay? It don't mean squat. I've done the research into it. I've actually looked at academic research as it pertains to representation and whether biases, especially in regards to racial biases, if these biases still exist when you have representation. And I love to inform you all that they still exist. In fact, in some aspects, it was heightened. Why? Many factors. But some of them is, well, I'm Uncle Ruckus. I don't want to be looked at as the nigga helping the niggas because then Master gonna be upset with me. No, bro. Then you got the niggas that I like being the exception to the rule. If I start helping all these niggas out, then I ain't gonna be the exception and it's gonna be a lot of we's instead of just me. Then you got the, I'm white. They don't really know they black on the outside, you know. I don't know, self-hate, you could call it what you want. There's many factors, but racial bias still existed regardless of representation. That's academic research proven. You could literally go to Google, type in Google Scholar, type in racial bias, and it don't matter what article you read, they all gonna say just about the same thing. It exists in every aspect that they have measured it, in the courts, in the schools, on the jobs, on the police force, in housing, banking. It does not matter. It don't matter. Anyways, let's get back to this. So to understand who Universal Music is, these are the people who have the power to shape culture and inspire people, which is appearing by the numbers. You know what? Let's show the numbers, shall we? In 2023, in a report, Universal Music boasts that it has a catalog of more than 220 artists and brands, 3.2 million recordings, and 4.5 million owned and administered titles. At the end of 2023, Universal Music had an ownership interest in 61 of the Billboard Hot 100 tracks, 61 of 100, over 60%. Y'all know how to do math, right? 60 divided by 100, 60%. In quarter one, 2024, Billboard reported that UMG represented 33.9% of the record label market share. On social media alone, social media platforms alone, music owned by Universal Music has streamed 11 trillion times in 2023. 11 trillion. And then it goes further to say, it talks about UMG's size. Now, we done scroll right into my notes here. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, God. Let's look at UMG, because these are the same people that want to be like, no, I ain't got squat. I'm not doing what they say I'm doing. Even though behind the scenes, they want to slap niggas in the face with the, nigga, look at all the power that I have and swing. Matter of fact, let me put a pin on this. What is this? Page 19. What I really want to show y'all is the line where UMG think we stupid. Y'all, sorry, I'm all getting out of the camera. But UMG think we stupid. Let me show y'all. Let me make sure I'm on the right side. What is humiliation? We gonna find it. Humiliation. This the one I want right here. This is how UMG thought we were stupid. Because I'm all over the place. UMG has a duty to Drake. Drake went to UMG before the lawsuit. This is the thing that I don't understand. People be wanting to clown Drake. Right? Oh, Drake, why you did that? Drake, why you did that? You know, it's just a beef. You act like a punk, Drake. You know? But let me tell you something. And this is why I love the fact that he did it. Despite how I feel about Drake, because I have my opinions of him just like I have my opinions of Diddy, but I know how to be neutral in regards of things that need to be out there, okay? I'm doing too much. I'm tapping. Things that need to be out there. So anyway, Drake went to UMG. Now, I am more than confident that UMG, Universal Music Group, had already foreseen the harm that this could have potentially brought upon Mr. Drake. But what did them jokers say? They said, tough titty, Drake, we don't care. But Drake was like, you know what? Because this is the way civil suits function. You have to show that you tried to resolve this before you came to them, just so because the courts, at the end of the day, we outnumber the people in power, right? We outnumber them. This is why they don't want us to unify. We outnumber them. This is why they keep us fighting. And I got a clip, but I'm going to finish this thought. This is why they want us fighting. But Drake went to them. He said, mother freaking, this could be very harmful. You done plaster me. This man is calling me a pedophile. He a legend that I need to be watched. People done came to my house, shot at my house. They done shot people at my house. My family lives here. Not only are you jeopardizing my safety and my music career, but you are motherfucking jeopardizing my livelihood. How am I going to feed myself if I can't, conduct business? Because you done jacked up my reputation, man. Or my reputation. It's like, how can I fix this, man? I need your help. UMG said, good luck with that, nigga. You want to sue us? Go ahead. Go ahead. The people stupid anyways. All you're going to do is humiliate yourself. The lawsuit ain't going to benefit you. The people are stupid, okay? Go sue us, Drake. We don't care. Because the people are too dumb to realize our role in all of this anyways. Go ahead. Go file a lawsuit. Nobody's going to read it. You ain't see the data pertaining to literacy in the United States, baby. We strategically made sure that majority of the population can't read. And guess what? Majority of them can't. In fact, the average reading level in the United States is a fourth grader reading level. So go ahead, nigga. They don't have the reading the brain capacity to read 81 pages, go file 100 more pages with it while you're at it. They don't care. So let me show you. Let me show you so you can see for yourself. They call this dumb. Yet, in response to Drake's concerns, UMG responded that Drake would face humiliation if he brought legal action, presuming that the public would be unable to understand UMG's role in exploiting and profiting from this dispute. UMG's posture as the world's largest music company was at its untouchable. If that ain't mother freaking overweening, boy, man. It's crazy. UMG thought we was stupid. And not for nothing, a lot of us fed right into the stupidity claims because you had people, yeah, Drake's a punk, he's a PUSSY, puss boy. That nigga was fake tough anyways. They said all types of wild stuff about him and then try to put, oh, it's just a beef and oh my goodness, why is he suing Kendrick Lamar? Then you got weirdos like Tyson that, oh my goodness, let me make myself relevant. Look, I'm listed in Drake's lawsuit. Whole time, UMG wreaking havoc and think we the people too stupid. Why do you think they intentionally keep us down, keep us uneducated? Let me show y'all this clip before I get further into this. Let me show y'all this clip, okay? Okay. Actually, there we go. Okay. Let me show y'all this clip. I was watching Bag Fuel earlier. Where the freak my clip go? Come on, don't embarrass me like this. Y'all know I'm solo. There we go. Was watching this clip. All right. Y'all just listen till I stop it, okay?
How do you combat this?
There's only one way, and it's never been done in history. And it's what goes with the politics, it's what goes with music, it's what goes with all of it. Fucking unity. Getting together and sharing information.
White people do that. Black people don't do that.
White people don't do it either.
You don't think so?
Fuck no. Rich people do it. And this is a rich-poor system. There's no in the middle. The middle class is gone. So it's rich against poor. And it don't matter what fucking color you are. I mean, you see that bitch going crazy, Scott Storch's ex?
Yeah, she's going wild. She's losing her mind.
That is common America. Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Entitled America.
She just chose the Latin people to go at.
No, that was feeling yourself because homie got elected and this is what he said and you're feeling yourself. And that shit backfired real quick when you realize that the actual public is different than those rich people.
That world, yeah.
You don't live in that world. So you thinking you're flossing that everybody feels the same way you do, but oh, wait a minute. There's a real world out there. Fuck around and find out. Bitch found out. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying is if the public cared as much about a white bitch going nuts and calling somebody a wetback as much as they do about artists getting treated like shit, the whole system would crumble.
Big time. But the people that are making the music are not business savvy. They're not smart enough.
Have they ever been?
And they don't listen. And they don't listen. This is what I am definitely going to say.
No, they do listen, but they listen to the light. They listen to the bling. They listen to the symbolism.
The cosmetics.
They
the cars,
like
the bitches.
Yeah, they say, oh, that's the goal.
The cloud.
And the record company goes, look, I can get you. It's the devil and the angel on your shoulder.
I can get you that.
And then they put these fake gods up and go, oh, he's rich when he's really renting this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what social media is. That's what
he's renting this
propaganda is. That's what it all is fake it till you make it. And even when you make it, you got to fake it because it's too expensive to live it, to maintain it.
You got to maintain it.
And that's why every artist, every person that's been in our business 9 times out of 10 ends up broke because they're enchanted by the light.
Well, the reason why I really wanted to share it is because, and I think I started it a little later than where I intended, but let me fix there we go. But he was basically saying like, there's more of us. I think it was another clip because I've watched like 2 or 3 clips from that same interview. They broke it up, but the guy was basically saying in this other clip that and when I say they, the people in power, because it's so little of them, they intentionally keep us feuding with one another. Excuse me, I got like a piece of hair or something sticking to my lip. But they intentionally keep us feuding with one another because it's more of us and it's less of them. And if we were to come together, right, come on, it's a numbers play, we will dominate, right? If we came together realizing like we all suck, we all been treated terribly and whatnot. And the whole point, you see it on the jobs, you see it in the military. I served in the Marine Corps. You see it even amongst these celebrity folks, even amongst athletes, right? All different aspects is that they pit everybody against each other and they prevent communication amongst one another. So without you communicating with one another, you aren't aware that whatever is happening to you may not be just a once in a lifetime or, a singular instance. That this might be happening to several other people, or you are able to realize like, maybe I'm not being compensated well if this person has done something very, very similar, you know what I'm saying? And they done something very similar and they were still, at least to their degree, they felt like they were compensated well enough and stuff. So it's why they keep us pitted against one another. It's the same thing when you're looking at the criminal justice system, the court system, the people in power, right? I tell people all the time, look at your local municipality. Look how it's made up. Whether you look at your county legislator, your city council, it don't matter. Your executive, judicial, legislative branch, it's less of them and more of us, right? And so this is why they thrive on keeping us separated, keeping us uninformed, because if we were knowledgeable, if we were communicative with one another, the systems that exist, the institutions, they won't have any effect on us because we would already be able to, you know what I'm saying, to surpass it because we're working together here. We get it from different angles. You taking your strengths and the next person taking their strengths and they going for what they know. That's what they don't want. This is why in the court systems, especially the criminal side, plea bargains are so pervasive. It's because of the fact that they have convinced you to believe that there's no other way. Like once you are in here, you're done. When I say the people in power, they literally push this like hopelessness and helplessness and fear and faithless and all these things that would typically benefit you in getting up out the mess. They keep you from even having anything that contraries that, because that helplessness, hopelessness, lack of faith, fear, it keeps you right in that mess. It keeps you believing they garbage. It keeps the propaganda being regurgitated, not only through you, but in other aspects. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, babe, what you doing? What you doing? We got to come together. And I tell people all the time, you want to dismantle these institutions, come together. You want to dismantle the criminal justice system? Stop taking guilty pleas. Look at how many prosecutors work in your local courts. Look how many judges work in your local courts. They don't have the manpower nor the funding to process the cases they already have. Let alone if every single person that's in there said, I'm not taking no guilty plea. One, we have the right to a speedy trial. I got arrested and it was about 17 months before my trial actually came and the case fell apart. 17 months. Where the speedy at that? Now imagine if every single person in my municipality had refused to take guilty pleas. Baby, it probably would have been 10 years out. It would literally have to, and then now you got grounds to lawsuit. Hey, it's been 10 plus years, bro. I said I have no motherfucking trial, look at your local jail census. It is not uncommon to see people sitting in there for pretrial detention, and they've been in there over a year. The crazy part about it, jails ain't even equipped to hold nobody over 365 days. But there are people that's been sitting in there 366 plus days. Okay. One of my homies, I'm editing his interview now. I'm posting it on my The Antithetical Antagonist channel. And he talks about how he sat in Monroe County Jail for well over 16 months. Yet jail is only supposed to last 12 months, 365 days, no more. If you are to stay in there longer, you got to go to prison. A lot of the people sitting in our jails, they have not even been convicted of nothing. They just sitting in there. They're just sitting in there. That's it. Hold on, I'm trying to adjust my camera, but they just sitting in there, rotting away. Motherfucking families aging around them. A lot of the people that's in there, they haven't even been brought before a judge. People always talk about don't get arrested on the weekend because it's going to be 48 hours before you brought before a judge. Nigga, what are y'all basing this on? What are y'all basing this on? The 80s, the 70s? I mean, baby, it ain't been 48 hours in God knows how long, okay? I'm just saying. That's why you got states like New York over here doing bail reform to ensure that people sitting in don't sit up in jail, especially who are charged with nonviolent offenses or people with no criminal records are just sitting in there for an eternity. Because the truth of the matter is that it takes these jokers forever to get you before them. There's a man, I can pull it up now, but I'm trying to stick to, I'm really am. Lord help me. I'm gonna get back to it. Trying to stick to Drake. But there's people, there's like 5 dudes that I done found on my local jail census, Monroe County Jail, been sitting there over 2 years. 2 motherfucking years. Jail ain't equipped for nobody like that. It's not. Anyways, I would say all that to say, it's the same thing with these institutions like UMG, Universal Music Group, the NBA, the NFL. They keep everybody pitting against one another because it's easier to mother freaking exploit you. It's easier to mother freaking oppress you. It's easier to discriminate against you if you hate one another and you condone it because you don't like the next person. Even though the same thing that I'm doing to them that is unconstitutional, baby, it's unlawful. It's unlawful for you too. But as long as I don't have you believe in that, it's okay. I justify my cruelty, wreaking havoc on y'all based on your ignorance. What that scripture says, God's people perish for lack of knowledge. Y'all better learn something. It's intentional, it's strategic, and it's systematic. Every institution does that. That I'm telling you, that's how the plea bargains, that whole thing, that's how it thrives. Oh, I'm so scared if I fight it, I'm gonna get the worst. No, baby, they're not gonna tell you. You more likely to have it acquitted, dismissed, charges dropped. Anyways, let's get back to this. UMG. We talked about who UMG is. Now we got to get into the meat and potatoes of UMG, where the contracts start to look, because I know you got some people that's going to be like, T, you tripping, you know? But let's look at this, because here's the duty that, remember the 4 elements: duty, harm, causation, and violation, right? The harm that was caused on Drake is the defamatory material being disseminated, right? The violation and the causation is UMG's tactics to make money. They're exploiting not only Drake, you know, but they're exploiting Kendrick, you know. And the duty that these people have is that you're supposed to protect him. He's your artist, you know. If he tells you, hey, this can hurt me, you have an obligation to look out for him. They failed to do so. And so now we need to look at UMG's licenses, which starts on page 17. So I'm going to get to page 17 and then I'm going to fix my motherfucking camera so y'all can see it. Okay. 17, where we at? Licenses. UMG. So I want y'all to know how they do their licensing. UMG licenses its music to hundreds of retailers around the world. These licensing deals allows third parties to legally use a recording, a musical composition, or portions thereof. So these third parties are like Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, motherfreaking the Facebook, the Meta peoples, all that. These are the third parties. It gets further into it. Universal Music has licensing agreements with all of their major all of the major platforms, including but not limited to iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music, Napster, formerly known as Rhapsody, Spotify, as well as TikTok and Meta, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Threads. So all of these people, all these entities, these groups, have a licensing agreement with UMG. We go further down. It says a third party cannot legally use Universal's music recordings or UMPG's licensed content embodying those recordings in advertising, on a live stage, in film, on television, or on the radio without the explicit consent of who? The Universal Music Group. Then it goes to say, I gotta stop there, because if y'all run it back at the beginning of this video, y'all see I played the Kendrick Lamar song. I was going to play the whole thing all the way through, but then I ended up rewinding it, playing it back. And then I was like, damn, this song is like almost 5 minutes. I'm not a big fan of the song. I didn't really want to hear it, and I thought it would have been overkill. But you'll see, I'm not going to get flagged. Just like every other person that has plastered this song on their content, they're not going to get flagged. But when I had played Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday, oh boy, did YouTube come for me. They was like, get that video up out of here, nigga. Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday? You forgot that she was murdered because we didn't want her playing that? Get the freak out of here, little black girl. Motherfucking booted my junk. But you gonna see this video is gonna still be up there. Why? Because UMG relaxed their licensing to exploit this song. But let's continue. Through its exclusive licensing rights, Universal wields incredible power to promote and popularize a song or performer. Hold on, let me run that back. Because you got people like, why they trying to sue him? People that are Kendrick Lamar fans, stans, whatever, a lot of y'all niggas take it as disrespect when people say, don't nobody listen to Kendrick. Okay, this is coming from a person, I don't give a damn about Drake. I don't give a damn about Kendrick, okay? Not in regards to their music. I will listen to them and I won't. I don't care. I do. It is what it is. Like, I just don't have no dog in this race, okay? Nobody really does listen to Kendrick. And I say that in the regards of he is not as mainstream plastered as Drake, which is evident because Drake, everybody already knows, Drake was receiving all of these accolades and he achieved a status that Kendrick Lamar has yet to achieve. We've already mentioned earlier in this lawsuit, it was stated that Kendrick Lamar had this joint venture deal with motherfreaking Interscope to where they was like, okay, let me see how well y'all motherfreaking help promote my music. And then they took Not Like Us and gave Not Like Us the status, the treatment that they've been giving Drake. But the difference is that a lot of, Drake's music wasn't defamatory. So when people was like, Drake, why you mad? Kendrick just benefited off of something that benefited you. Well, he didn't have defamatory music. At least not to my recollection. Most of the songs, Highlight Bling, I know when that Highlight Bling, that, I don't recall nothing defamatory. I need no one dance, some. Not defamatory. So yeah, they did put a lot of power behind him, but not behind defamatory music where he was motherfreaking obliterating niggas. And honestly, I do presume that if UMG gave equal use of their abilities to Drake as they did Kendrick wouldn't really be in this, his song wouldn't be in the midst of a lawsuit. I don't think Drake would have had much of a problem, right? But see, we get into the contracts because I read something about Drake contract that'll make you think twice on it. But we getting there. We gotta stick with these rights right now, these little licenses. So, through its exclusive licensing rights, Universal Music wields incredible power to promote and popularize a song or performer. We see that. It's currently being done with Kendrick Lamar. At the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar literally just got 5 awards, not just nominations, awards for the same song. Same song, the same defamatory song that motherfucking Drake is suing. All right. Mind you, I've already said Kendrick, and I'm not saying like Kendrick trash or he booty compared to Drake. I'm just saying before Not Like Us, he didn't have the pull that Drake had. So he was not played as often as Drake was played. And if maybe, if streaming was keeping up, I mean, that was the Kendrick fans. The casual, mainstream music listener, ain't playing no Kendrick. Sometimes I skip him. I found his voice like J. Cole to be boring. Not too much of a fan of Drake either, but Drake got a few songs that I like. Although I do like Loyalty by Kendrick Lamar. But my music taste ain't identical to the next person. As I said, I'm the casual mainstream music listener. So to people like me, it's like, no, nigga, ain't nobody listening to him because I'm not going out of my way to listen to no Kendrick. And if he ain't on the radio, if he's not in the store when I walk in there, if he's not playing in the club when I go up in there, if these secular, these churches that's not really, you know what I'm saying? If they not playing motherfreaking a little tune and putting a little gospel hymn to it or something, I ain't hearing it. I'm not hearing it. And so that's all I'm saying. It's like Kendrick wasn't getting the playtime as Drake. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Okay. Anyways. Let's continue. Then it goes into talking about how UMG whitelisted the Not Like Us song. And it goes into explain what whitelisting is. And since I mentioned it, I'm going to skip there. Whitelisting, right here, happens when a copyright holder like Universal Music permits a user or platform to use its content without charging fees or imposing other limitations. They charge no fees, or they didn't impose any other limitations. He's claiming Universal exercised their control, right? When they say control, he's talking about this power up here that they have, this incredible power to promote, right? They exercised the control in early 2024 when it pulled its songs from publications on TikTok over issues with the platform's use of generative artificial intelligence. Y'all remember that? All them songs got snatched right off of motherfreaking TikTok. So UMG can't really say, we don't have publishing control. They do. And this is why I felt like UMG's defense was going to be, oh Lord, section 20, I want to say it's 201 or 203 in the FCC ordeal when it talks about like the protections or defenses, as you will, from defamatory, and the fact that they immediately went to be like, well, we couldn't control, or we had no control over Kendrick Lamar's music because he's an artist, and we don't impose or censor, people's artistry, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I had assumed that they were going to appeal to the section 203. I think it's section 203. Now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to say it now because I'm bugged out about it. Anyways, section, I think it's 203. 203. Ugh, no. Defamation section 230? Is it? Oh, section 230, 203. Section 230. There we go. Ugh, I don't like using AI. You know what? F AI. Man, F these hoes. I got a phone right in the motherfucking front of me. I could just read it from my phone, okay? Because I don't like that AI thing, but I don't really have the time to be out here scrolling. But I actually got a book on this because I took a communications class pursuing my bachelor's degree. And that's when I learned all about FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. I think that's what it's either commission or committee. But that's the people that basically controls what's put on the radio, what's put on social media, protections when it comes to defamation, television, movies, obscene, nudity, all that. Okay, so what am I looking for? My book. Then I'm gonna go to my library. The book is called, just in case anybody want to get it, The Law of Journalism and Mass Communication. And it's by Susan Ross, I think it is. The words are so tiny and I don't got my glasses. Yeah, Susan Dente Ross. But so vaguely, I just want to let y'all know what Section 230 is, okay? Just so y'all can see, this is my phone. Section 230 immunity. I'm reading it. So I can't pull it up. But Section 230 offers immunity to websites and libel claims, although the protection is not absolute. Section 230 generally provides legal protection to website operators and internet service providers when issues arise from content created by others. And then it goes to say that that this protection had extended to many diverse entities, commonly called interactive computer service providers. So a lot of people thought or think that Section 230 protection, that immunity from defamatory material, only applies to internet server or internet providers, and it's not. It's literally interactive computer service providers. And anybody knows anything about UMG, UMG is a data bank, okay, which does nothing but pertain to exactly what that says, interactive computer service providers, okay? We already established that they publish, they promote, they distribute, they license, they provide incentives for music. I mean, they have so much control, okay? So this is why I thought that they was going to use the Section 230 immunity. And for those is like, well, what are you talking about? Section 230 immunity is literally just that. I'm sorry, y'all. I got my hair braided yesterday and I need some air, okay? I got the scalp getting a little itchy. But anyways, it's Section 230 is literally just a defense to defamatory material. So if someone tried to sue for defamatory material, it's one of the, several defenses you could utilize that protects you from whatever defamatory material you utilized. Okay, so that's basically that. So I thought that they was going to use Section 203 because they was all talking about, I don't want to censor motherfucking Kendrick. I don't want to impose on his First Amendment right, blase, blase, blah, right? And so then let me reference my motherfucking notes. So, yeah. We go back down to the white listing. Basically, when a copyright holder like Universal Music Group permits a user or a platform to use its content without charging fees or imposing other limitations. So UMG is huge enough. They boast in the fact that they have the ability, in addition to they actually do because they're large enough too, and with all their connections, to literally power and shape culture, which includes shaping culture into believing and inspiring you to believe that Drake is a pedophile, whether true or untrue. He wasn't arrested, charged, convicted of none of that. But UMG has you to believe he's a creeper, And then we're going to move on to the deals. So we're going to scroll up because I would like y'all to see how shady the industry could be. So in this lawsuit, he even broke down the deals. So UMG is the world leader in music entertainment. Remember I said it earlier. UMG is engaged in the business of acquiring, administering, licensing, exploiting, and otherwise monetizing a catalog of copyrights containing musical compositions and sound recordings. UMG controls almost a third of the music people listen to in the developed world and a sizable portion in the developing world. So that means these motherfreaking, what y'all consider these third world countries, they got a sizable control portion in the handling of the music. Interesting, interesting. All right. So it breaks down the music industry. I thank Drake for this because this provided some insight. So the music industry, control over a particular single or album, in the music industry, control over a single or a particular single album or other collection of work is governed by various contracts, including traditional recording deals, distribution, publishing, and licensing deals. In a traditional recording deal, a record label typically retains exclusive rights to an artist and the artist's recordings, and the right to re-record the compositions embodied therein for a specific period of time. The label pays in advance for the artist's recordings, which is usually nowhere near the amount of money that they make from them after this. But the label pays in advance for the artist's recordings and royalties and finances the provision of services to the artist in areas such as production, promotions, marketing, and distribution. So they pay you advances. This is the deal when they were talking about, it's like the sharecroppers deal where it's like they give you an advance, but then they end up taking from the money that they gave you because you have to pay for everything. Getting you around, the same as sharecroppers. If I had the motherfreaking, okay, I got to work your land. Now I got to pay you to even be on here because I want some produce off of this. Then I've been disenfranchised all my life. My ancestors were enslaved here, so we ain't got nothing. So I don't even got a hoe, So I'm gonna need your hoe. I'm gonna need, you got a couple of mules back there. I need some of them. And then they're like, okay, well, let's take this out of the money we just gave you. And then it leaves you with nothing after they take all your hard labor and profit off it. That is a traditional recording deal, what they also call them, I don't know, it could be viewed as a 360 deal, but 360 deal is also broke down in here, but it's a funky deal. A distribution deal differs. It generally allows the artist to retain ownership of their recordings and grants the record label the exclusive right to sell, license, and distribute the recordings in certain formats, whether that's digital audio or physical phonograph records for, again, a specified period of time. Then with a music publishing administration deal, the artist, as a songwriter, generally retains ownership of his or her musical compositions and pays a percentage of his music publishing revenues to a publisher to administer, promote, exploit, license, and protect use of his songs. Okay. And then lastly, 360 deal. It's also known as a master contract. It's the most comprehensive. It encompasses the traditional rights granted in a recording deal, but also provides the record label with control over or a passive income stream from merchandising, touring, endorsements, and other ancillary ventures the artist may undertake. Motherfucking had me in a chokehold. So that's the motherfucking contracts pertaining to these music folk, right? Funky. It goes into explaining, and then it brings us back. So when music or Universal Music owns your recording, distribution, publishing rights, yada, 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 they exploit that ownership through its licensing deals with third parties. And remember, it started to explain how those licensing deals with, they function with these third parties. And just in case you need me to go back over it, I'll go over it, but I'm gonna skip through it after this. But it says UMG licensing its music to hundreds of retailers around the world. These licensing deals allows third party to legally use a recording, a musical composition, or portions thereof. Universal Music has licensing agreements with all all of the major platforms, including but not limited to iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music, Napster, formerly Rhapsody, and Spotify, as well as TikTok and Meta, which includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Threads. Okay. Now, with that being said, okay, we done scamp. But with that being said, this goes to show the duty that UMG had to Drake with protecting him from any potential harm, which stems from the over dissemination or disproportionate dissemination of the Not Like Us track. This is why. This is why. This is why he has grounds to sue them. It's like, y'all have the power of control, and they boast in that power of control. They really do. You could go to their website, go to the About Us. You could look at all it's there, man. It's there. But they basically, so everybody's aware of what they did, but they basically took this defamatory material, Not Like Us, where it's using, it says Drake name specifically, and it goes and starts calling him a pedophile and make all types of claims and accusations that could be believed as truthful because of the way that it is pervasive. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. And so, I mean, does it make sense to you now why he's suing them? Especially when it says like UMG has the ability to like literally exploit people, right? Where it says in my notes, it says UMG made significant financial investments and leverage professional connections, right? And this includes highly organized publicity campaigns. So as we've seen, as I mentioned earlier, Drake and the Grammys, or excuse me, Kendrick Lamar and the Grammys. Nigga was nominated and won 5 times for the same song. This was a guy who wasn't really getting no playtime before, mainstream wise, not to the extent of this song, And then it's even mentioned that it's going to be at the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not saying whether or not this is going to be at the Super Bowl. I personally feel like they might as well just go ahead and play it at the Super Bowl because you done all this already, and he already initiated the lawsuit, so ain't no going back now. Once I really believe that Drake is gonna win, as long as Jesus has got his back, man, because the powers that be, I can see them trying to kill old boy before he could even get a victory. You know what I'm saying? And when you go against institutions, positions of power, I'm for it. I'm with it. For wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of darkness. I know what it is behind these these politicians, these business people, these music labels, these execs, these market shareholders and whatnot. These people are incentivized for this, right? The Super Bowl. Then it says that the UMG has claimed that songs, as I mentioned before, they have to go through about 60,000 songs every day. They got to fight for recognition, for playtime against 60,000 songs. So the benefit of partnering with UMG is that you get all of their professional connections, all of their organized publicity campaigns, which like motherfucking Kendrick is with the Grammys and potentially tomorrow at the Super Bowl. You get all of this. You sign with UMG. But the thing that really got me, and this is what I really want to pay attention to, is Drake's contract before I really sum everything up and then I come to a close because we are at 1 hour and 40 minutes. But I want to talk about, because Drake, I took the note, it said UMG, they not only removed the recordings copyright restrictions, but they offer financial incentives to third parties to deceptively stream and play on the radio to promote and endorse the defaming rhetoric without disclosing payments. And this is where I start to talk about the criminality aspect, right? So anybody knows this is why I mentioned consumer fraud earlier. So because UMG has such, as they've boastfully mentioned, that they have such a huge impact on inspiring culture and all this wonderful jazz, right? These people, if they intentionally push something, knowing that it's false, but push something just for a payout without disclosing that information to the people, us citizens of the United States, they can get into some serious trouble. And it was mentioned where it says that this is why they were incentivizing these third parties to play the stream. So you thinking that, oh, it's Kendrick Lamar's effort that got him on to the radio and into the or onto the Grammys and into the stores and and all the places that we've seen him. We think it's his own merit that got him there. No, baby, it was not. It was this deceptive tactic that UMG utilized to deceive the people. And when you do something like that, there's all types of legislation that has been passed that when you are interacting with the public, there are things that you have to disclose. And this is one of them. The financial backings behind it. We see it in politics, right? How many times have y'all heard about Clarence Thomas getting hemmed up because he taking motherfreaking donations and all this other stuff from, what's the dude name? Something Crow, some wealthy multi-billionaire. This dude funded his wife's motherfreaking salary, taking him on trips across the world on his yacht, paying for all types of vacations and stuff. Bribery. And this is stuff that's supposed to be disclosed because the people need to know, because you look a little suspicious, because it's like, hold on, you doing all this behind the scenes. This is unethical. You know, this is immoral. Like, what else is you doing? Are you taking bribes? And this is when it becomes, you realize like, oh, the market ain't fair. And this is what he's talking about. Drake, he is alluding to an unfair market, economic market, which is literally criminally illegal. So not only are there civil allegations in here, but there's also criminal, right? And so this is the things that I found like interesting, and I'm glad that, I'm like, I look out a mess, this ain't the Candace Owens, but I'm trying to make sure that I get everything to y'all, because at the end of the day, like, you need to know, right? I mean, yeah, it's cool that you hop behind bandwagons and you look at, your artists, like you look at your sports team. I'm just going to support whoever I like. It's cool. But you also need to be in the knows about what's going on. Now, before we really get out of here, before I conclude, I do want to let y'all know about Drake's contract. And I'm trying to find it in my notes. I think it said it's page 210. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Drake has a long partnership. Here we go. Okay, so now I can show you. Right here. Page 20, number 49. It says UMG began profiting off Drake's art in 2009. The parties extended their contract in 2022. After announcing the 2022 contract extension, Sir Lucian described Drake as one of the biggest artists of today and expressed that UMG couldn't be more excited about what lies ahead for its relationship with Drake. Through the contract extension, UMG profits from its exclusive right, to exploit Drake's music. Keep that in mind. The contract between UMG, I know this is ugly, okay? I was on my phone, motherfreaker, reading, writing, and highlighting, okay? But the contract between UMG and Drake is up for renegotiation this year, 2025. Remember, this lawsuit, so May 2024 is when the onset of this started to take place. January 15th is when Drake he filed that lawsuit. 2025, Drake's contract up for renegotiation. It said by spring of 2024, UMG understood that the rise of streaming platforms had enhanced the bargaining power of artists. So they became aware that Drake had an upper hand in the renegotiations of his contract. It goes to say that established artists whose contracts are coming up for renewal are in an improved position to demand higher take rates due to the improvement in the visibility of cash flows and risk reduction. And as described below on Information and Belief, UMG was incentivized to act and, in fact, did act in a manner to reduce that bargaining leverage that Drake had in advance of upcoming negotiations with Drake over contract renewal. So this is when it starts to say that this is when they started to promote Kendrick Lamar's defamatory material, aka his song called Not Like Us, right? And so this is why everything starts to come into picture. I mean, for Drake to even be putting it out there, and I see my video quality is getting poor because my natural lighting is disappearing, so I'm coming to an end. But this would make sense why Drake is having such a hardship with these people and why they decided to take, because Kendrick Lamar and Drake probably have this legit feud, but the record company was like, yo, UMG was like, let's motherfucking profit off of this. We can exploit this, right? Let's link up with motherfucking Kendrick. Let's, show him how valuable we can be for him, right? We show him we are valuable. And at the same time, we muddy the image of Drake. So ultimately, we lower his bargaining, power. That way he's more likely to take a deal that benefits us, not him. So that would make sense. That would make sense. Especially why Drake ain't suing Kendrick, even though the defamatory material is his. So, in conclusion, because my wife should be here soon and we going on a date, Drake is suing UMG, Universal Music Group, not Kendrick. Universal Music Group is a very, very powerful entity where they have the power to literally manipulate and inspire, from what they say inspire, but it's manipulate, culture and the perception. Like they can literally make a person super playable, super streamable, or you're nothing. You gotta fight through the masses and risk disappearing. Okay. They exploited him after they realized from what Drake has put together that they utilized Kendrick and Drake's beef to muddy his image, to lower his bargaining power, so that way they can get him for what they want him for, at the same time ultimately just making mad money, because either way they getting rich off of Kendrick, muddying Drake's image. If Drake was to go along and be like, okay, I'll come to you, then they gonna pay some money to kind of like, okay, Drake's not a pedophile, guys. Like, let's fix his image. And now they would own him for however long they done put in the contract to motherfucking exploit his new music. And then probably, come around, recycle the same, tactic and try to keep him like this so they could keep profiting off of him. So I hope y'all understand that, I understand the people who love hip hop, rap, you all for the beefs. The average person is for the drama. It's different when you have an entity exploiting off your drama. It's like, right, we all think criminal activity is terrible, It's a crime. You shouldn't be out here committing crime, But at the same time, if the police, which they do, if the court systems, which they do, were to become explicitly, known to the people that they are profiting off of your dramas and issues with your people, and they continue to facilitate this, then you would be mad at them because you like, okay, yes, it's these two knuckleheads in the midst of the nonsense, but you ought to know better, sir, police, judge, lawyer, whomever you are. You have a position of power, UMG. You shouldn't be coming in here like this, exploiting people, UMG. And that's what's happening. That is what's happening. So I hope that this is more understandable, digestible, that he's literally being exploited. UMG should be held accountable, right? They should be held accountable. Because you got to remember, I'm going to end here. The exploitation of artists by execs. And I'm going to show y'all so y'all can see that I am not just reading this from nowhere. This is still Drake's motherfucking civil suit. UMG's executives are handsomely compensated for exploiting artistic works. UMG reports that its executive compensation is driven by its transition to more performance-based packages. Data. Y'all go to Bag Fuel and listen to that man, I don't know his name, something of LA, Drizza. It's the white man that they just interviewed. He talks about how it's not the music. The industry is this big bank getting paid off for data. It's not necessarily the content of your music, it's the clicks. You see, it's how your stuff pops up and it's advertised, right? That is what they're getting paid off of. Anyways, let me, shut up, Tara. All right, let's go back. UMG's executives are handsomely compensated for exploiting artists' works. UMG reports that its executive compensation is driven by its transition to more performance-based packages. We're transitioning to data. Look at AI and all that. UMG executives, including those at Interscope, have an annual incentive program through which they are rewarded for meeting and surpassing sales and profit projections, amongst other metrics. Now remember, we said it here. UMG executive shareholders, these people get paid regardless. They beef, they don't beef, because they own both of them. And as this feud goes, they're like, well, we'll even help you out. Kendrick, we'll give you more reach with the feud so we can just keep the fire burning. They putting air on the motherfucking fire. Anyways, so UMG executives, including those at Interscope, have an annual incentive program through which they are rewarded for meeting and surpassing sales and profit projections, among other metrics. The incentives are largely based on the specific UMG division rather than the performance of UMG generally. So what it's saying is that this specific division that is pertained to music makes majority of the entire UMG's business money. The tiny little division that is over them, remember we talked about them hundreds of artists and millions of motherfreaking content that they own through all them hundreds of artists? Yes. So what it's saying, for example, the annual incentive or bonus of Interscope's CEO, John Janik, however you pronounce it, is based 90% on the financial success of Interscope. 90% of their financial success is through Interscope, the music division. 10%, only 10% of their financial success comes from UMG. Do you see how profitable these niggas are? Do you see how profitable the likes of like motherfreaking Sexy Red and her My P Word Brown and my junk stink? I'm still stuck on the fact she really claimed that her vagina stunk. But anyways, these people profit off of it. 90% of their finance, 90% of their wealth comes from music. Interesting. It also says this division-based incentive structure creates perverse incentives within UMG. Mr. Janik and other Interscope executives are incentivized to maximize the financial success of the Interscope labels without taking into account the impact on other UMG labels. For example, through the promotion of the recording, which they're talking about Not Like Us, and its revitalizing impact on Kendrick Lamar's entire recording catalog, what they're saying is that them promoting Not Like Us motherfucking breathe life into his dead catalog that nobody was really listening to at one point. Revitalize it. Now it done breathed fresh life into him, right? Including his first 5 studio albums. Interscope and Interscope executives benefit regardless on the effect of other UMG labels like Republic, which represents Drake. So Republic can go down. They don't really motherfucking give a dang because they still got an Interscope that pulling 90% of their motherfucking funds, yo. Just saying. It's interesting. UMG should be held accountable. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.